One of my favorite recent sneaker releases was an iconic and historically significant shoe, and that was the Air Jordan 13 Playoffs. I thought that would be an instant sellout, but I think it's still sat for a little bit, just a little bit, and despite people from my generation or people slightly a bit older having very fond memories of that shoe, I don't think it did as well as I expected it to. So if an OG colorway couldn't get people that excited, how would a new colorway do? In late April, Jordan Brand came out with a new Jordan 13 colorway that had the same color blocking as an OG colorway, and dare I say, I think I like this one better. Air Jordan 13 Black Flint. This shoe dropped on April 22nd for $200. I believe there was a shock drop prior to that, I can't quite remember. If there was, I definitely missed out on that. But I got this shoe on April 22nd. It sat, I think, for a few hours. Can't quite remember. I think the larger sizes sold out pretty quickly, but my size 9.5, I think it sat for at least an hour. Like, I was able to get it without too much stress, and I've seen them restock on other stores. So if you do want them and you missed out on sneakers, definitely keep an eye out. So this has the exact same color blocking as the Jordan 13 Flint, which was an OG colorway. Now, Michael Jordan never actually wore that shoe on the court. Makes sense, that was a blue shoe, and back in those days, NBA players would usually wear the same color as their uniform. So it didn't make sense that he would wear blue shoes. But instead of the blue on the upper sole, they just replaced it with black. Now, the Jordan 13, if you didn't know, is the last Jordan shoe that he wore as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Or at least it was supposed to be, because in the final game of the 1998 NBA Finals, he was supposed to wear the Jordan 13s, but MJ does what he wants, so he went ahead and put on a pair of Jordan 14s. So that famous last shot in Game 6 against the Utah Jazz, he wasn't wearing Jordan 13s, but that was not actually the original plan. So the Jordan 13 was inspired by a panther. So you see these dimples on the upper sole of the shoe throughout the mid panel. That's supposed to resemble a panther's whiskers. Really, really cool concept. If you didn't know, it's probably not that obvious, but once you know, you can kind of see it. And the upper sole of the shoe comes with a white base leather layer, as well as gray suede. And the leather on the shoe comes with this tumbled leather. Now, tumbled doesn't always mean good. Sometimes the tumbled leather will look very, very artificial, but on the Jordan 13, it looks so nice. It feels so soft. Really, really liking it. And the gray suede, because it's suede, I have to run my fingers over it. It's pretty nice. Honestly, I've always appreciated the materials that come with the Jordan 13s. I've never really been disappointed. And the black overlays is made out of this mesh material. Obviously, the black replaces the blue that you see on the OG colorway, the Flint. I like this color blocking. I like this colorway. Very, very hard to get a white, black, and gray shoe incorrect. And I think it's super clean. One thing I have to point out, I'm not quite sure why they went with a red Jumpman on the tongue. On the OG colorway, the Flint, they had a blue Jumpman, kind of to match the rest of the shoe. So I'm not quite sure why they didn't go with a gray or a black Jumpman. The red kind of just stands out, kind of comes out of nowhere. One little complaint that I have. And you see that little Jordan tag at the very bottom of the eyelets. And the most defining feature of the Jordan 13 is the hologram that you see on the heel of the shoe, where you see the 23 and the Jumpman. No other shoe has something as cool as that. I'm just gonna say it, at least not that I can think of. And the Jordan 13 comes with a Phylon midsole. Phylon is essentially Nike's patented EVA foam, and it's made to be more lightweight, made to be more durable. And I will say, when you hold the Jordan 13s in hand, it can look kind of bulky and clunky, but it's super light in hand. And that's definitely owing some part to the Phylon used in the midsole. And if you look up close, you see that Phylon grain. And another weight-saving measure is the carbon fiber shank plate that you see on the outsole. Love it. Carbon fiber, one of my favorite things that you see on a shoe. Super lightweight and super strong. And the rest of the outsole, you see that pattern that resembles a panther's paw with herringbone traction, the best traction that you can get, as well as another, not really the same type of hologram with the Jumpman, but very similar. The Jordan 13 does come with a Zoom Air unit on the heel and the forefoot, so the cushioning, very nice. And you can start to see the stark difference in technology when it comes to the Jordan 13 compared to some of the very old and classic Jordan 1s, 2s, 3s, and so on. One of the cool little quirks that I always appreciated about the Jordan 13, that little dimple that you see on the booty of the shoe. It's pretty unique for a shoe. You don't really see that often. This shoe doesn't come with any extra laces. I will say, even though I do prefer the white laces over any other color on this shoe, I kind of wish they came with some black laces just to kind of complete the Black Flint look. So if you're gonna have a shoe that's very predominantly black and white, just match the laces with that kind of colorway. I don't get it. Especially for a $200 shoe, one extra set of laces is not gonna hurt Nike's bottom line. Now for the box of the shoe, pretty normal Jumpman box. The red Jumpman matching the red Jumpman on the tongue of the shoe, as well as that silver kind of gray color. Inside the box, nothing too special. Now one thing I will point out, the official colors that's listed on the shoe only lists black and university red. So instead of mentioning white or gray, it has university red, which literally only appears on the tongue. Now, if there was a rule where you could only buy a shoe based off the colors on a box, you would never ever picture this shoe when you open up the box. Now moving on to sizing and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet, and I went with a size 9.5 this time. For other Jordan 13s, like the Jordan 13 Soulflies that I really like, I went up half a size. But as a wide footer, I think you can't really go wrong even if you go up half a size or you choose to go true to size. If you do have wide feet and you prefer a very snug fit, definitely stay true to size. Usually the toe box might give some people problems. I don't find it too much of an issue. It does take a little bit of time to break in, but after that it's super comfortable. The length is perfect as well, and the cushioning inside, it just wraps and hugs nicely on your feet. But if you do have wide feet and you prefer a looser fit, especially in this toe box area, you can't go wrong going up half a size. And comfort-wise, I've always said the Jordan 13 is one of the most comfortable Jordans, at least from 1 to 14. The padding inside, as well as on the ankle collar, it's so soft, it's so squishy. And because it was designed as a performance basketball sneaker, it's super lightweight while still giving a lot of support, especially with the Phylon midsole as well as the carbon fiber shank plate. It just feels nice on feet. I could wear this walking around all day. Now that brings the total sole score to 19 out of 25, one of the highest scores that I've ever given a shoe, and it does really well on 3 metrics. First of all, the colorway. Like I said before, how can you mess up a white, black, and gray colorway? You can't. It's just so clean, it's so easy to wear. It just goes with anything. You can't really go wrong with that. Material-wise, the Jordan 13 just offers some of the best materials. The leather, the tumbled texture, not like that super artificial tumbled leather that you see on some shoes. The Phylon midsole, the carbon fiber shank plate, everything, all the materials, it's just so nice. Comfort-wise, like I mentioned before, one of the more comfortable Jordans, 2 Zoom Air units, great padding inside, super lightweight. But 2 metrics kind of hurt this shoe. The Jordan 13, in terms of versatility, the silhouette itself, disregarding the colorway, if you're not wearing something athletic, if you're going for a more casual or even semi-formal look, it's hard to wear a Jordan 13. I think a lot of people have the same complaint about the Jordan 13. However, the colorway, that's where it makes up ground in terms of versatility. And in terms of storytelling, there is no storytelling. It's just a new colorway, a very general release. So it gets a 1 out of 5 for storytelling. The Jordan 13s are one of the more overlooked Jordans, at least from 1 to 14 in my opinion. So much attention and hype is focused on the Jordan 1, 3, 4, 5, 11, and I get it, it's just not the most easy to wear shoe, and you see that going from like the Jordan 13 or 14 onwards. Technology for basketball shoes just really develops quickly, and you see less and less crossover between basketball shoes and casual shoes. The technology and the aesthetic of basketball shoes really develops into its own niche, and it just kind of deviates. But with all that said, even as someone that doesn't love the Jordan 13 silhouette, I think the technology, the comfort, and the materials of the Jordan 13 outweighs the lack of versatility and wearability of the shoe, especially when it comes in such a clean colorway. But that's it. Thanks for watching Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 13 Black Flint. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.